I want to tell you about our front steps that were being redone. After the work was finished, I realized they were too high. Not dangerously high, but more than I wanted and definitely more than made sense for the long term. But when I brought the subject up with the contractors, they all pointed fingers at each other because nobody had actually taken the time to draw out the step height in the plans. I had to push to get it fixed. Today's video is about what I learned from this and other home remodeling mishaps. By the end of it, you're going to have a much more confidence to manage your own project to get the results that you want. When we did a long overdue renovation of our 1950s era home, one of my big goals was to make the home we had lived in for the last 20 years ready for us to live another 20 in it, which meant we needed to think about modifying some areas to work for aging in place. Naturally, we installed some grab bars. As it turns out, I introduced my own interior designer to the knurled grab bar. This is a grab bar that has more texture, so it's easier to grab than your typical shiny grab bar. My designer is talented and experienced, world class really. He just never had a client who asked for a textured grab bar before, who'd done some independent research on the options. That's not a gap in ability, it's a gap in frame of reference. My job was to fill it. Or another example. My electrician placed every outlet in the house at a standard height without asking first. But I caught it during my framing walkthrough and got the height of all the outlets raised 2 inches. It wasn't a big deal to change at this point in the project, but I'm still so grateful that I walked through at the right moment. You know, as you get older, bending down to plug things in can be difficult. I didn't want the outlets to be super high on the wall, but I thought 2 inches higher might help over the long run. Also, I was the one who asked for the shower controls to be at the opposite end of the shower from the shower head. A lot of plumbers like to put them all in a row, but I knew that if someone ever needed assistance showering, myself for instance, the caregiver offering that assistance would prefer not to get wet. None of these stories is meant to suggest that the people who do work on your home are careless or uninterested in meeting your needs. They're skilled at exactly what they've been trained for, and they want you to be happy in your new home. But your aging in place goals are not automatically inside their frame of reference. You have to bring them in. As I see it, there are a couple of kinds of expertise involved in any home project. One is technical know-how and experience. A contractor knows how to build. A designer knows how to make space functional and beautiful. Electricians and plumbers know the code and the craft. That expertise is deep and hard to replace. You should absolutely respect it and rely on it. But none of these professionals actually lives in your house. None of them knows how you move through it the first thing in the morning before you're fully awake. None of them knows which cabinet door you always reach for with your left hand, or that the kitchen counter where you like to set things down is always this one, not that one. None of these people knows which room makes you feel most like yourself, or what you would fight to protect if structural changes had to be made. That knowledge is yours. It's a personal expertise that no professional can reconstruct from a floor plan. This is the foundation that their technical expertise has to build on. Puns were intended there. When you talk over plans with a contractor or designer without your personal foundation clearly in mind, you get a project that's technically well done, but maybe not quite right for your life. However, when you come in knowing what you know and being able to communicate your priorities, you give the pros something real to work with. That's when they can do their best work. So when it comes to home improvement, specifically aging in place modifications, home design and building professionals are not the most informed people in the room. You are. You're the one who's informed about what matters most in your home. So before you call anyone or start a new project, I want you to sit with 3 questions. 1. How do you actually move through your house? Not how is the house designed to work, how you actually use it, the routes you take every day, the habits you built up over the years, the shortcuts you don't even notice anymore. 2. What do you love that you're not willing to change? Every homeowner has non-negotiable preferences. The view from a particular window, the way the light comes in at a certain time of day, a room that's yours. Know what these things are before somebody else makes a decision about them on your behalf. And number 3, if something happened to your health or mobility tomorrow, what would suddenly matter the most? This question can feel uncomfortable to ask, but it's also one of the most useful. The answer tells you where exactly to focus first before you decide anything else. Your answers to these questions are what you bring to the table. Everything a professional does should be built on top of them. Working with skilled people is one of the best investments you can make in your home. And if you've clarified your own goals and priorities beforehand, you'll get more out of that investment. Your unique perspective is a type of expertise that's probably more than you've been giving yourself credit for. Now, before I see you next week, I'd love to hear what's one thing you know about your home, the way you actually use it, what works, what doesn't, that no contractor or designer could tell you. Leave it in the comments. I read all of them. And now that you realize you are the expert on your home, check out this video on why preparing your home to age in place is an act of agency, not surrender.